This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 26th day of September in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Though it has been building its capacity in the oil and gas sector, the Office of the Auditor General still lacks the capacity to audit offshore activities in the Stabroek Block as oil production continues to rise. The Auditor General's office has instead been redirecting its focus to agencies like the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Guyana Geologian Mines Commission that are responsible for monitoring the production of oil and gas and the revenues received. Auditor General Deodat Sharma admitted to reporters on Thursday that his office lacks the expertise and human resources necessary to audit offshore activities, noting that tremendous human resources are needed, from petroleum engineers to legal experts. He said the audit office is nowhere close to achieving that level of capacity.
Unfortunately, I have not seen any of those reports to date. So I'm still awaiting the final report.
U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil is currently producing about 650,000 barrels of oil per day on the Stabroek Block. However, with the recent startup of a fourth FPSO, the One Guyana FPSO, the company anticipates growing production to more than 900,000 barrels of oil per day by the end of the year. In 2024, ExxonMobil recorded $1.25 trillion in operating profit before tax. That figure represents a 66.7% increase in profit before tax when compared to the $752.7 billion made in 2023. Its net income stood at $995.1 billion at the end of 2024. Guyana, on the other hand, received $2.6 billion in oil revenues and royalties in 2024. Despite the ramping up of oil production, the first audit of expenses declared by ExxonMobil and its co-venturers for the period 1999 to 2017, which was conducted by IHS Markit, has not been finalized, with $214 million in cost recovery still in dispute. The second audit, which examined the costs incurred between 2018 and 2022, reviewed $7.2 billion in declared expenses. However, $65.1 million remains in dispute. As of June, the third audit, covering the period 2021 to 2023, was being reviewed by the Guyana Revenue Authority. The Auditor General said he is still to receive copies of the three audits conducted to date.
In terms of the oil and gas sector, we only have about 3 or 4 staff presently. As I said, I have to get this approved by the Public Accounts Committee. I think the last Public Accounts Committee understand that what I need now, although it was rejected. It was about 8 or 9 members that I wanted into that section. So that will go to the new Public Accounts Committee.
But Mr. Sharma said he is still hopeful that in the future, the Audit Office would have the capacity to conduct the audits. In the interim, Auditor General Sharma said the Audit Office is building capacity in the oil and gas sector. He said a request for a total of 9 staff members for the Oil and Gas Department was declined by the Public Accounts Committee.
But the actual auditing in terms of the oil and gas sector, I cannot audit what is happening out there. It will involve legal people, many engineers. No, I cannot do that. So what I will do, I will audit in the sectors that are responsible to monitor what is happening out there. Like the Guyana Revenue Authority, presently I'm auditing that.
Together with members of Parliament, officers of the Audit Office underwent training on auditing the extractive industries, in particular the oil and gas sector. That training was facilitated by the Canadian Audit and Accountability Foundation. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Quartz presents the Home Event 2025, happening now at Quartz stores nationwide. It's the perfect time to refresh your home. Come explore new arrivals, best sellers, and deals you can't resist. Discover the widest range of stylish furniture, cutting-edge TVs, audio systems, and appliances that are smart and energy efficient, all backed by the Quartz low price guarantee. Our experts will help you choose what you need for your home. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get more. Don't miss the Quartz Home Event 2025. Quartz, bringing value home.
Get ready, Guyana! It's CPL! It's carnival time! It's time for the biggest party of the year! On Saturday, September 27th, Kingston Beach comes alive with nothing but pure vibes as the Republic Bank, Pan, Brass, and Soca. A night of rhythm, energy, and pure vibes.
They should know!
Look out for Mixmaster Tony, Selector Andre, Kun Jazz Steel Ensemble, Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, OKC, Omaya Hall, Carlvin Burnett, A.W. Lyrical, The Troy, The Pianist, Heatwave Band, Johan Chukari, Adam Hagley, and the Insomniacs Band. And straight out of Trinidad and Tobago, the one and only Young Bretta. Pan, Brass, and Soca is supported by Republic Bank Limited, Ministry of Culture, Youth, and Sport, Star Party Rentals, Discover Guyana, New GPC, DS Ramsey Hall & Sons Jewelry, German's Restaurant, and Beacon Cafe. Ticket prices of $5,000. VIP access is $20,000. Tickets available at the National Cultural Center box office. Don't forget, Pan, Brass, and Soca, September 27th at Kingston Beach.
Turning now to the education sector, in wake of the many complaints in schools across the country about various public utilities issues, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Public Utilities and Aviation are joining forces to address urgent utilities issues facing schools. A rapid response task force has been formed to tackle the issues, which include water and electricity supply and sewage in some instances. At a meeting yesterday, several officials from the two ministries and departments that fall under their control engaged technical experts on the way forward. The Education Ministry in a statement said, even as investigations continue into the destruction of water supply systems at some interior locations, the meeting discussed several measures that can bring both immediate and long-term relief to residents, teachers, and learners at those interior locations. In the coming weeks, the established task force will examine repairs to the damaged infrastructure, enhance security at key locations such as the water wells, and importantly, the construction of water reservoirs, which will provide a more resilient and sustainable solution for the 250 plus communities and satellite villages in the hinterland, the ministry said. In addition to the hinterland water supply issues, Ministers Parag and Indar also went through a list of all schools from regions 1 to 10 that have issues with their utilities. In addition to the water issues, several electrical issues in schools across the regions were highlighted. Minister Indar has assured that all of the issues that fall within his remit will be remedied within the next 6 weeks. Minister Parag and her team have committed to either partnering with other government ministries and their agencies to ensure that all issues affecting students and teachers are resolved as soon as possible. As the Alliance for Change seeks to re-establish itself in the country's political sphere, the party today turned its attention to the Guyana Elections Commission, saying that the country's electoral body continues to fail the electorate by refusing to implement critical reforms that will guarantee free and fair elections in Guyana. The AFC will not be represented in the 13th Parliament when it convenes, but interim leader of the AFC, David Patterson, today said the party will use its voice outside of the Parliament to push for critical reforms, especially of the Elections Commission. Mr. Patterson said now that the elections are over, the spotlight should not be removed from the Elections Commission, in light of reports from various observer groups of what needs to be done in future elections.
The time is now for GECOM to start implementing several reforms born out of the experiences of the electorate as well as the recommendations of the various observer missions. For the last 5 years, the opposition have been calling for biometrics. Early on this year, the chairperson, Ms. Claudette Singh, indicated that biometrics is not only feasible, it's also necessary, and it's also the way to go. So now that we have completed elections 2025, the process for biometrics should commence immediately.
The Alliance for Change also said GECOM's excuse that it did not have enough time to implement biometrics during the last elections should not be accepted now, as the Commission could begin preparation work now.
In that light, the Alliance for Change would be paying keen attention to Budget 2026, which must include a substantial provision to cover the process of implementation of biometrics in GECOM.
Mr. Patterson said the Alliance for Change has already started to engage with the opposition parties to request them to sponsor a motion in the National Assembly for budgetary allocations for the Elections Commission to undertake the process to implement biometrics. The AFC also wants the opposition parties to take a draft bill to the National Assembly to address the question of campaign financing, in light of an observer mission report which stated that the governing party had an unfair advantage in the last elections. Criticizing both the People's Progressive Party, Civic and the People's National Congress reform for not doing enough to reform the Constitution, co-leader of the Working People's Alliance, Dr. David Hines, said the current winner-takes-all system is fueling tension, as he made a renewed call for constitutional reform. At a press conference on Wednesday, Dr. Hines said the two major parties have paid lip service to the issue, with neither moving with any sense of purpose to truly push for constitutional reform. The Irfinali administration in 2024 appointed a Constitutional Reform Commission, but more than a year later there has been little to no progress. Hines believes the appointment of the 20-member commission was an election gimmick.
Any country which does not constantly review its bedrock rules and laws ultimately ends up where Guyana is at the moment, in a state of chaos and tyranny. It should not be surprising that the country is viewed as an elected autocracy, a characterization that is a far distance from that of a functioning democracy. A living constitution is one which reflects the true nature of society in a fundamental way and keeps up with the inevitable changes.
Dr. Hines also told reporters that the WPA is not satisfied that the country's constitutional arrangements adequately reflect the plural and multi-ethnic nature of the society.
The current winner-takes-all electoral system is a continuing cause of political tensions in the country. Under this system, our elections have become a theater of zero-sum contestation. In recent elections, this situation has been compounded by the dangerous resort to open vote buying. WPA strongly feels that if our country is going to become a functioning democracy, the winner-takes-all electoral system must go. It has long outlived whatever usefulness the original framers might have envisaged.
The co-leader of the Working People's Alliance said Guyana's rise to a petro-state is changing the country's political economy in fundamental ways, explaining that it brings to the fore the issue of equitable distribution of common resources, as well as the type of governance system that manages the state and the society.
It also brings with it new regional and global imperatives. These developments demand adjustments to the rules and the laws. A movement from one of the poorest economies to one of the most thriving economy demands laws that address the socio-economic, political, and cultural changes inherent in such a development.
Noting that the reports from the international observer groups, the opposition parties, and the local civil society groups cannot be ignored, Dr. Hines said the post-election issues, such as who sits on one side of GECOM's political divide, highlights the need for such change. Against that backdrop, the WPA called on the government and the opposition to initiate the process of constitutional reform, starting with the termination of the current commission and the appointment of a new constitutional reform commission with a renewed mandate and a strict timetable.
Get ready, Guyana! It's CPL! It's carnival time! It's time for the biggest party of the year! On Saturday, September 27th, Kingston Beach comes alive with nothing but pure vibes as the Republic Bank, Pan, Brass, and Soca. A night of rhythm, energy, and pure vibes.
They should know!
Look out for Mixmaster Tony, Selecta Andre, Kunjaz Steel Ensemble, Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, OKC, Omaya Hall, Carlvin Burnett, A.W. Lyrical, The Troy, The Pianist, Heatwave Band, Johan Chukari, Adam Hagley, and the Insomniacs Band. And straight out of Trinidad and Tobago, the one and only Young Bretta. Hand Brass and Soca is supported by Republic Bank Limited, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, Star Party Rentals, Discover Guyana, New GPC, DS Ramsey Hall and Sons Jewelry, German's Restaurant, and Beacon Cafe. Ticket prices of $5,000. VIP access is $20,000. Tickets available at the National Cultural Center box office. Don't forget, Pan, Brass, and Soca, September 27th at Kingston Beach.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright. Have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Starbrook Market.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Former leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, today defended his decision to resign from that position in the party, offering no indication on whether or not he will heed to a request from the party's leadership to return to the helm. Hughes stepped down as leader of the AFC on the 17th of September, citing the party's extremely poor performance at the 1st of September elections, which left the party without a seat in the National Assembly. Mr. Hughes said he takes full responsibility for the outcome of the results.
That's a pretty easy question. If you're the captain of the ship and the ship sinks, you're responsible. It doesn't matter whether the first mate didn't wake up or the groundsman, didn't serve the breakfast on time. You are responsible. And perhaps where I come from, it may not be, people are confused, but that's the reality of it. You don't barely lose a match. You either lose a match or win it. And in the legal profession, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But at the end of the day, the responsibility is mine. So it wasn't a question of factors, other than the fact that for the first time, the Alliance for Change does not have a parliamentary seat, and it clearly was a rejection of my leadership. So that is the factor. It's pure responsibility.
The former AFC leader said he remains a dedicated member of the Alliance for Change and will lend whatever support is necessary. Co-founder of the AFC, Kemraj Ramjatan, said the party will continue to engage Hughes on the matter. In the interim, the chairman of the AFC, David Patterson, has been appointed to carry out the functions of the office of the leader of the party. Ramjatan told reporters that notwithstanding the outcome of the elections, the AFC remains a viable and valuable player in Guyana's political landscape and is here to stay.
While these are great times for the AFC, we see light on the horizon. Our members remain loyal to the party. Our supporters have been calling to re-engage. Local and international agencies continue to engage with the AFC too. We are still seen as a vital player in Guyana's politics. We will learn from our past and come back stronger and better.
He also said the leadership of the Alliance for Change has had 2 emergency meetings since the elections, and this weekend it will engage the wider membership on an analysis on the party's performance at the elections. The party is expected to examine the factors responsible for its poor performance.
I've seen the first draft. We've asked them to submit their SWOT analysis, and we're going to compile it and put it into a matrix, for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, a SWOT analysis, and that'll be done this weekend. We have a team. We have a team who are right now doing the data analysis polling station by polling stations. It has thrown up some interesting results. And we will be presenting that.
Mr. Ramjatan also said the party wants to hear from its younger members, adding that already some have indicated their willingness to do more to help the party with its rebuilding process. Well, the Ministry of Housing, through the Central Housing and Planning Authority this afternoon, halted the construction of the Chang Hong supermarket on Brickdam near Brummel Place. In a statement, the ministry said an inspection conducted by the Central Housing and Planning Authority's Enforcement and Compliance Department confirmed that construction commenced without seeking approval from the Central Housing and Planning Authority or the relevant regulatory agencies. The ministry was also able to confirm that no planning permission was ever issued for the development, nor is there any application pending before the authority. The ministry said as a result, the proprietor of the building was formally served with a notice of contravention in accordance with the Town and Country Planning Act, Chapter 2001, ordering the immediate cessation of all unauthorized works. The notice was served at the residence of the proprietor and a copy affixed at the construction site. Meanwhile, the City Council Constabulary Department also swooped down on the construction site today and arrested 5 persons there this afternoon as construction was still continuing. The Central Housing and Planning Authority said businesses, developers and property owners must know that the authority is the first point of engagement for all construction and commercial development permits. It stated that adherence to zoning laws and planning regulations is not only mandatory but critical to safeguarding orderly and sustainable development. The authority also reiterated its commitment to supporting legitimate investment and projects that align with national planning standards, uplift communities, and contribute positively to urban development, while taking uncompromising action against any attempt to circumvent the law. Attorney General Anil Nandlal will lead a team from Guyana who will be testifying as witnesses in the arbitration proceedings in the parking meter case, which is scheduled to be heard before the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes in Paris, France, from Monday. Back in 2022, Smart City Solutions had sued the government over the controversial parking meter project, which the Georgetown Mayor and City Council failed in its attempt to implement across the city back in 2016. Smart City Solutions filed proceedings against the government of Guyana through the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, which is based in Washington, D.C. In a statement today, the Office of the Attorney General noted that Guyana is being sued for damages of $100 million arising from the contract executed by the former APNU AFC-led City Council for the implementation of the Georgetown parking meter project. The project was ultimately abandoned following strong public opposition. The witnesses scheduled to testify for and on behalf of Guyana are former Minister of Communities Ronald Bulcan and former Georgetown City Councillors Malcolm Ferreira and Bishop Kupen. In addition, a former Chancellor of the Judiciary will also testify as an expert witness, the Attorney General's office said. The project, which was led by then Mayor of Georgetown Patricia Chase Green and former Town Clerk Royston King, sought to implement paid parking in the city with the installation of over 60 parking meters in downtown areas. The majority of the meters were installed in 2016, but the project was terminated due to widespread protests. Guyana is being represented in the proceedings by a Washington-based law firm. The Attorney General's chambers has indicated that more than $3 million has already been spent on legal fees. An operation by the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit in the Essequibo Coast community of Charity unearthed just over 32 pounds of cocaine on Thursday. According to a statement from KANU, the operation was conducted based on information that had been gathered about the presence of the cocaine in the area. KANU said its agents were led to a location based on the information received, and at that location a search was carried out. The search unearthed 13 brick-like parcels of cocaine, leading to the arrest of one man. The suspect was taken into custody as the cocaine, which weighed 32 pounds, was confiscated. The suspect, Alfred Andrew Paul, appeared in court today before Magistrate Mohabir at the Sudi Magistrate Court. He pleaded guilty to the offense of possession of more than 14 kilograms of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. With that guilty plea, he was sentenced to 36 months in jail. He was also fined $22.2 million Guyana dollars.
Get ready, Guyana! It's CPL! It's carnival time! It's time for the biggest party of the year! On Saturday, September 27th, Kingston Beach comes alive with nothing but pure vibes as the Republic Bank, Pan, Brass, and Soca. A night of rhythm, energy, and pure vibes.
They should know!
Look out for Mixmaster Tony, Selecta Andre, Kunjaz Steel Ensemble, Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, OKC, Omaya Hall, Carlvin Burnett, A.W. Lyrical, The Troy, The Pianist, Heatwave Band, Johan Chukari, Adam Hagley, and the Insomniacs Band. And straight out of Trinidad and Tobago, the one and only Young Bretta. Pan, Brass, and Soca is supported by Republic Bank Limited, Ministry of Culture, Youth, and Sport, Star Party Rentals, Discover Guyana, New GPC, DS Ramsey Hall & Sons Jewelry, German's Restaurant, and Beacon Cafe. Ticket prices of $5,000. VIP access is $20,000. Tickets available at the National Cultural Center box office. Don't forget, Pan, Brass, and Soca, September 27th at Kingston Beach.
Live the
Island Dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than $1 million in cash and prizes, plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. And that's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo, Altitude and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster, Altitude or Viva. Find the code starting with BB, then visit at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean on IG or Facebook for details.
Live the island dream, get money. Live the island dream.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, the Global Water Partnership Caribbean, GWPC, and the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, formalized a new partnership aimed at strengthening the intersection of water security and protecting public health across the region. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed by Chair of the GWPC, Professor Paulette Bino, and Executive Director for CARPHA, Dr. Lisa Indar, on Tuesday, September 16. Professor Bino said by combining GWPC's expertise in water resources management with CARPHA's leadership in health, the partnership aims to protect communities better and build resilience across the region. The agreement between the two regional organizations arrives at a critical juncture as Caribbean countries continue to confront mounting challenges from climate change, waterborne diseases, and extreme weather events. Dr. Lisa Indar said partnerships such as this one are at the core of CARPHA's 2025-2030 strategic plan themed Stronger Together. A co-owner of Brazilian meatpacking giant JBS met privately with U.S. President Donald Trump about 3 weeks before Trump extended a surprise olive branch to Brazil's president in his United Nations speech on Tuesday. 3 people with knowledge of the encounter told Reuters. That meeting helped pave the way for Trump to take a more favorable tone towards Lula at the UN. 2 sources told Reuters. On Tuesday, Trump praised Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva despite months of sparring between the two leaders over what the White House has called a witch hunt in Brazil against a Trump ally. In July, the White House imposed 50% tariffs on most Brazilian imports, including meat, potentially jarring the supply chain for companies including JBS and its subsidiary Pilgrim's Pride. It was in the following weeks that one of JBS co-owners managed to set up a meeting with Trump. According to one of the people with knowledge of the conversation, the co-owner told Trump that the tariffs he had imposed on Brazilian products were making beef too expensive for Americans. The levies were cited by the White House as retaliation against what Trump believed to be an unfair persecution of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, a right-wing firebrand who this month was convicted of plotting a coup to remain in power after he lost the 2022 election. And finally tonight, international news. President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Thursday declaring that his plan to sell Chinese-owned TikTok's U.S. operation to U.S. and global investors will address the national security requirements in a 2024 law. The new U.S. company will be valued at around $14 billion. Vice President J.D. Vance said, putting a price tag on the popular short video app far below some analysts' estimates. Trump on Thursday delayed until January 20 enforcement of the law that bans the app unless its Chinese owners sell it amid efforts to extract TikTok's U.S. assets from the global platform, line up American and other investors, and win approval from the Chinese government. The publication of the executive order shows Trump is making progress on the sale of TikTok's U.S. assets, but numerous details need to be fleshed out, including how the U.S. entity would use TikTok's most important asset, its recommendation algorithm. Trump's order says the algorithm will be retained and monitored by the U.S. company's security partners. An operation of the algorithm will be under the control of the new joint venture. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant weekend.